Building a passport portfolio is something that many people should be looking into, and especially as there is more centralization within this world, the governments are not going to get any more open to realistically what you want to happen. Hello and welcome back to the Travel Report. Today we're going over why you should be looking into building a passport portfolio and building optionality through that passport portfolio, especially as it is becoming increasingly crazy. And while I think that many people will just brush this off as, oh, this has always been the case, whatever, it really hasn't. And the world is going through a shift in how it views everything. Recently, a lot of countries have opened up dual citizenship. Now, this isn't to lack control, actually. And for many, it's a form of building control if you look at how they operate. And of course, I will go over specifically how citizenship ties into the broader picture. However, that will be in another video, which, if you're excited for that, feel free to subscribe on my channel, as I do videos a ton. And so, of course, I'll have the latest information on just about every topic in this regard. Of course, in a lot of circumstances, many people are waving the flag of one nation. And I think that as time goes on, the shift is towards high net worth individuals, wealthy individuals, ultra wealthy individuals, creating optionality through second passports. And unlike what is typical of citizenships in the past, where they've just been for visa-free travel, many are getting passports in places like Armenia, in places like Georgia. I'm presently here in Tbilisi, and the amounts of Americans, actually, that I see with Georgian citizenship is not small. And the reason why is because it's a hedge against uncertainty. It's a hedge for asset protection. And it's a hedge, realistically. If they want to give up US citizenship, they can do that now. They have that option. However, of course, living here, what I've noticed and what I've realized is the loophole that happened in 2018 created a large amount of inflows into citizenship applications just for optionality. And I believe that this is beneficial because if you look at how empires fall, the number one way to protect yourself is to have a plan outside of the empire. And I'm not saying that any empire particularly is fallen. I'm not saying China is falling. I'm not saying the US is falling. I'm not saying Russia is falling. Although Russia, I will get into in a bit from the lens of Georgia, as it is not faring as well as people think it is. However, of course, that's a story for another day. And again, if you want to be the first to watch that video, feel free to subscribe. As I said, I do videos 3 times a day, so you'll get the information there. Of course, in a lot of regards, most of the internationalization channels, however, sensationalize how safe you are with another passport. They sensationalize how being compliant in your home country, then switching your passport is somehow going to remove any and absolve you of any, reporting requirements. I'll be the first to say it isn't about reporting. If you cannot deal with reporting, you probably shouldn't have any passport. You should probably be in prison, because realistically, every single country has reporting requirements. And on top of that, every single country, if you make money, will make you report it. Now, whether or not they make you report it exactly as the US would, or the Canadians would, or the Germans would, obviously I just named 3 systems that are completely different to one another. So, of course, there isn't as much of a centralization of systems as people think there is. But, for instance, a lot of South American countries don't make you sign anything. They don't make you have any company there, or have any income there. And if you don't remit that income, you won't pay taxes. Of course, this is something that is well known within certain circles, although the countries that most people look into are probably the wrong countries, as the reputation is down in the gutter. However, of course, when I go to Latin America, I will go over some of the citizenship programs and how they are playing out. Of course, the optionality, however, you get with a second passport is the optionality of living in that country. Additionally, if it's an EU passport or a CARICOM passport or whatever, you get the ability to live in other countries. In some circumstances, for instance, ASEAN, or what used to be NAFTA but is now USMCA, I think, or USMCA, I can't remember. In some instances, they make visas easier, or facilitating visas easier. And many people didn't know that Mexico is a potentially good passport as a result of that, but of course, when I go to Mexico, I will do more of that reporting. That said, of course, with optionality comes a lot of reporting. And if you are looking to reduce reporting, if you're looking to offshore your entities or create a solid, optimized plan with your jurisdiction in mind, feel free to reach out, book a call, Calendly, 15 minutes, absolutely free, down in the description. And if you liked this video, feel free to like it. If you really like this video, feel free to share it with your friends. If you are looking to join me on the internationalization and globalization journey, feel free to subscribe. This has been the Travel Report, signing off.